Hey guys, my name is Casey and welcome back to Teaberry Farm. If you're new, I'm so glad you're here. And if you're not new, glad you're back. So reading the title of this video, I'm going to talk about something that's in the news and a little bit controversial, and I might rant a little bit. Hopefully not. So recently in the news, all anyone is talking about So recently in the news, all anyone can talk about is egg prices in 2023. Y'all, egg prices went up in 2022 as well. Prices of everything are expensive. Food, cars, houses, clothes, shoes, you name it. Everything is more expensive. But people have the biggest gas. Gas was huge. But people have the biggest problem with the price of eggs? I'm confused, and I could just be a little biased because this is what I do. Raise chickens for eggs. What I don't understand is that people think that eggs should cost $2. Do you know how much feed costs? Do you know how much infrastructure costs, let alone wood? Wood is like 50% higher than it was a couple of years ago. It's come down a little bit, but it's still super expensive. So the reason I want to talk about this in today's video is because y'all, I had no idea this was such a big deal. So starting like Friday of this past week, I started getting texts and like messages about, oh, I need eggs, oh, I need chicks, from people that don't normally buy eggs and chicks from me. And the demand was like getting crazy. Like I sold eggs throughout the week, like eggs my chickens hadn't laid yet already. And the sad fact is we're in winter. Egg production is like cut in half. So I don't have as much available. And I was like, what is going on? So we went to the grocery store because I saw the things, egg prices, blah, blah. I went to the grocery store and I had been there the week before, and eggs were, at least the eggs that I've been watching over time, were up $1 from the week before. And I was like, huh, okay, cool. Glad I raised egg prices, you know? The things that I want to discuss today are, why is food expensive? Why is it that people are not willing to pay for the food, quality food that they put in their body, but they're willing to pay $150 for a good pair of running shoes because they understand quality and how it's better for their body, especially if they're runners, or if you're, say, a nurse, you want a good quality pair of shoes because you're standing up all day. People will pay $300 for a Coach purse because it's quality. You know, there's so many things that people will pay for. They're paying $100,000 more for a house than they did a year and a half ago, and nobody's batting an eye. But eggs are a problem? I'm a little confused. Okay? And I'm just going to explain a little bit why I don't quite understand. So for one, I do not believe that the eggs in the store are worth anything. I wouldn't even eat them. Now, there are a couple brands that tout, you know, free range, organic, pasture-raised, those kind of things that actually do what they say they're going to do, but they're growing on a larger scale, growing and raising on a larger scale. And, you know, the more that you have, the bigger the production is, the lower that prices can be. The small farmer cannot do that. So I've always had people kind of like balk at the cost of eggs because people are used to like, oh, I'll pay $2 for some yard eggs. And it's like, do you know what's in here? So there's some things I want to go over and some facts I want to talk with you about in case you're not already educated on quality eggs. So what we do is we pasture raise our chickens. Pasture raising means that they're free range. They're in a pasture. It's regenerative farming. We move them around. We don't let them dig a place up like crazy and then leave them. They want to scratch in the dirt. They want to peck you. They want to roll around. They want a dust bath. They want to dig for their own insects. They want to dig for roots. You know, they want that's what their job is. That's what God created them to do. So with that, we also feed them non-GMO organic feed. I do know for a fact from talking to other people who have chickens, we feed a pretty expensive feed, only because I want good quality. It's a layer feed, but it is not crushed up and then pelletized. Our chicken, it looks like scratch grains. When you open it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is scratch grains. Hi. She wants her attention. It's just like a cat. And they love it because they get to pick through it. They enjoy it. They get to be chicken. So yes, we pay quite a bit for feed. Another thing is, most people aren't aware that industrial chicken farmers like have 30 days to get their eggs to, say, their wholesaler or the grocery store. And then by the time you get eggs off the shelf at the grocery store, on average, they're 7 weeks old and they've been washed. So eggs that are raised naturally, and I think the US is one of the only countries that actually washes our eggs. So when a chicken lays an egg, there's something called a bloom on the egg, and it's a protective coating that keeps bacteria and infection and things like that so that the egg is safe. So to hatch an egg, it takes 21 days. So how else does a chicken sit outside on an egg for 21 days and it not like rot, you know, or have any kind of problem? So the bloom is an awesome protective coating. So what you can do with unwashed eggs is they can sit on your counter for like 4 weeks. They don't have to be refrigerated. In Europe, you don't go to the refrigerated section to get your eggs. They're sitting out unrefrigerated. So that is always helpful. So yuck, it's already gross to me. I want to read off some facts about pasture-raised eggs that you may not be aware of. Research has found that pasture-raised eggs contain twice as much of omega-3 fat. That's the good fat. We get too much omega-6. It has 3 times more vitamin D, 4 times more vitamin E, and 7 times more beta-carotene than eggs that are raised on, like, say, traditional feed. There's 1/3 less cholesterol, 1/4 less saturated fat, 2/3 more vitamin A. So, and if you've ever had eggs, like, say, from a farm or from someone who has just pasture-raised eggs in, like, their backyard, the yolk of a pasture-raised chicken or a free-range chicken is really dark, like it's a rich orange. The eggs you get from the store that are crappy have a light yellow color. Which one do you think has more nutrients in it? Ding, ding, ding. It's not the crappy eggs that you're buying for $2 at the grocery store. So those chickens, for one, are raised in a multitude. There's some facts about chickens, like, I'm not sure everyone is aware of. So it takes 21 days to hatch an egg. Do you know how long it takes a chick from the time that it hatches till the time that it will start laying eggs? On average, it's 6 months. So in that time, you are feeding that chicken for 6 months before you get anything. And when they're new layers, they have smaller eggs, they're not as consistent, and it takes a few months for them to really start laying. The rooster's looking at me funny. So it takes them a few months to start laying. So in a chicken's first year, they do really well laying. They'll lay through a molt. They will lay throughout the winter. Their production will be a little less, but they'll continue laying. In their second year of life, they lay a few less eggs than they did the first year. Their third year, less the second, less the first. So there comes a point where they'll be older. A chicken's life on average is like 5 years if everything goes smoothly and perfectly, but they don't do a whole lot in the last couple of years of their life. So think about that. You're always having to add chickens to your flock so that you're always having the production of eggs that you want. So already it's a lot of work. You're already like 6 months in. If you hatched them, you're like 6 months and like 21 days into this, let alone raising the hens that laid those eggs, put it in the incubator, and then hatched it. If you're a small chicken farmer or egg farmer, you probably care about your chickens, which some people are probably like, wow, that's just weird. It's just a chicken. Have you ever spent time with chickens? Chickens are smart, they're sweet, and if they're hand raised, they're a lot like cats or lap dogs. They want to be in your lap. I'm waiting for someone to get in my lap right now. They want to be loved on, they want to be squished. They really enjoy it, especially these Buff Orpingtons that are in here. They really love attention because they've always gotten it. They're very sweet. You ever heard the term crazy chicken lady? I'm a crazy chicken lady. I love my chickens. I spend time with them. But also it's because it's from an animal husbandry aspect. For one, it takes me about 2 hours in the morning to feed chickens and do everything that I need to do. So I'm moving like chicken tractors. I am moving fences. I am scrubbing waters. I am feeding the chickens. I am literally eyeballing the majority of them to make sure no one's sick, no one has an injury, somebody's not egg bound. There's so many things that you're keeping track of. If someone's sick, you need to isolate them. There's all these things going on, and it doesn't stop there. Then I spend a few times a day picking up eggs. There's a lot that goes on in any type of farming, whether it's food, whether it has to do with animals. And what I don't understand is that people have gotten to a place lately where they feel like food should be cheap. If you have a small business, you understand. You can't sell that thing for what you make it for versus what someone's going to get it off of Amazon. Like, there's a huge price difference. We need to focus more on shopping locally than we do on shopping globally. Yes, there's some things you can't get locally. I totally understand that. But have you thought about looking around to see, getting to know your local farmers? Where do you get your broccoli? Where do you get your eggs? Where do you get your chicken? Where do you get your beef? Where do you get your milk? There's so many people that are around you that you could support, and I can guarantee the quality of food is so much better. I want to share a story. So the first time I took our eggs to the market to sell, I had just set up a booth, I had just put out the sign, and someone came up, and I'm not even going to say gender or age of this person, but they came up to me and they asked for eggs, and I was like, great, they're $5 a dozen at the time. I open up the carton and that person goes, ugh, those are too small. I'm not paying $5 for that. I can get them at the grocery store for, I don't know, it was like $3.50 is what they told me. And I was like, okay, have a nice day. And I died inside. All I could think about running through my head was, I'm 8 months into this. We've spent all kinds of money, all kinds of time, blood, sweat, and tears to raise these chickens for these eggs, and the first person that comes up to me tells me, ugh, that's too expensive. Seriously? I was so upset. I mean, it was horrible. Like the self-confidence, I was like, what have we done? We need to sell everything. Let's just forget this. This is stupid. Now, as the day went on, it got better, and I found those people that understood what I was doing. They understood what we had, and they wanted it. So there are those people that do, and there are those people that don't. But how many of you growing up, raise your hand, because I am, when you ate eggs, it upset your stomach. It gave you gas. It gave you bubble gut. I just stopped eating eggs because I didn't understand there was something better. Had no idea. I have a customer who has ulcerative colitis, and they buy 2 dozen every single week, and it doesn't upset that person's stomach. So I make sure that that person is a priority in getting eggs because it's better nutrition for them, and it doesn't hurt their stomach. What's free has no value, and all people seem to want is better free stuff lately. Not gonna happen. Not for what I have to do. So what I have learned in this journey for us is that I try to buy locally. I try to buy from people that I know. I try to, when I get to know that person and I understand the quality, and especially if it's something it's a thing, like it's a skill that I don't have, or that I don't have time to make myself because there's so much going on, I want to give them my money. I'm tired of giving large corporations my money because I don't like what they're doing with it. So I'm spending more of my time, energy, and money focusing on looking around and seeing like who has what I need. I want a relationship. So the more we build this community of people where I get my eggs from you, I get my milk from you, I get chicken from you, I get beef from you, I get produce from you, the more we start doing that, we've built a community. And for one, I can guarantee we're all going to be a lot more healthy. We're eating like with the seasons and things like that. Raising chickens for eggs is not like, I'm not going to get wealthy. We started this journey for ourselves and we believe in it. Y'all, we're not even breaking even, especially right now. Chickens in the wintertime, the only way to get them to lay more is to put them under lights 24/7, which means I'm going to take them out of the environment where they're living most naturally to make them do something that God did not intend for them to do at that time of year. So I want to have the best nutrients and the best nutrition possible. So I'm not willing to do that. So I knew in the wintertime we would make less money. I'm okay with that. But I'm not okay with people being really ugly about spending money. You're spending money on other things. You're not batting an eye about buying a new car, but you're upset about eggs. That's where you want to save your money? Okay. There's plenty of other people who are willing to pay for good quality things. If you're in a position where you can have a few raised beds and start growing something, do it. If you're in a position or in a place where you could have, if you're like a family of 3 or 4 or 5, you could have 4 or 5 chickens in your backyard. If you have the ability to take care of them, pay for their feed, things like that, like do it. I mean, and I also know that not everybody can. If you have an HOA, I'm sure they're not going to be real excited about you having chickens. But I think everyone should have some. We've ramped up production on, how are we going to expand the business for more eggs into the future? How are we going to, raise more chicks to sell for people, especially people that are interested? I am willing to educate the people that I'm selling eggs and chickens to, like, this is how you take care of chickens. Oh, you don't know about this? Okay, text me and ask me. I'm sure there are things that I have left out of this video. I meant to make a list, totally forgot. But I have a toddler and I only have so much time to actually do things like this. So I hope you like this video. Please hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed, please do. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.